that this does not apply to the District of Columbia. But I also want to come back to a basic point, and that is, how did we get here today? Why are we here? Well, we're here supposed to be talking about the Defense Authorization Bill. But last week, the Democrat leadership decided to put a hate crimes amendment on the floor as the first amendment to the Defense Authorization Bill, unrelated, non-germane to the underlying Defense Authorization Bill. Now, the hate crimes bill, it could be argued, preempts a lot of state laws, because a lot of state laws have their own laws with regard to hate crimes. But we decided here, the Democrat leadership did, that it was more important to talk about hate crimes legislation than it was to talk about defense-related amendments. Well, my view was, they're going to offer a hate crimes amendment on the floor of the United States Senate. What better way to prevent hate crimes than to allow the potential victims of hate crimes to defend themselves against those very hate crimes? And so I was going to offer this amendment, this concealed carry amendment, as a second-degree amendment to the hate crimes amendment that was put on the floor last week by the Democrats. The leader filled the tree, preventing us from doing that. And so we worked it out to have this debate and to talk about this amendment today. But it ties in very closely to the hate crimes amendment, the legislation that we've had on the floor of the United States Senate for the last week, when we should have been talking about defense authorization issues. But that being said, I'll come back to my basic fundamental point. This is a common sense amendment that strikes a balance between the constitutional right that people in this country enjoy under the Second Amendment to keep and bear arms, and which has been supported by the Supreme Court, I might add, and the rights of states under federalism to restrict that according to their own wishes and laws. And every state does that differently. This does not preempt those. The states of Wisconsin and Illinois prevent concealed carry permit holders, and so there isn't anybody in any state in this country that's going to be able to travel to Illinois or Wisconsin and carry a gun, because they just don't allow it. So it respects the rights of the individual states, but it does allow law-abiding citizens in this country to exercise their constitutional right under the Second Amendment, and that right should not end at state lines. State borders should not be a barrier to an individual's right to defend themselves. And I believe the studies are very clear, as I said earlier, Mr. President. And you talk about they're all talking about speculating about all the crimes going to be committed. People, concealed carry permit holders, if you look at the data, are 15 times less likely than the rest of the public to commit murder. Criminals, Mr. President, commit crimes, not law-abiding citizens, not people who go down to their courthouse to get a concealed carry permit so that they can defend themselves against the very criminals who routinely break the laws and possess firearms illegally so that they can commit crimes. This is a reasonable, common-sense balance, which I believe strikes the right balance between the constitutional Second Amendment right that citizens in this country enjoy and the state's abilities to restrict that right. And any concealed carry permit holder who has a concealed carry permit in their state of residence that travels to another state has to abide by and is subject to the laws that are enacted by that individual state. So, Mr. President, I hope that my colleagues will vote for what is a common sense amendment that allows people across this country who are law-abiding citizens to defend themselves from the very criminals who break those laws and try and commit these crimes. Mr. President, I yield the floor, and I would ask for the yeas and nays.